Hi, I'm Rania Badreldin. I'm a happiness consultant, NLP and hypnosis master practitioner and coach, international speaker, and seasoned social entrepreneur. And today, I'm going to help you master your thoughts and emotions and take charge of your life, no matter how challenging the circumstances are. Now, we all want to be happy, to have peace of mind, to feel successful and fulfilled. Yet sometimes those things can seem far-fetched or unattainable if the times seem to be particularly uncertain. So today I'm going to share some important happiness findings with you and 7 tips to really help you take charge. To start with, let's talk about what happiness is and what it isn't. Scientists define happiness as your subjective well-being, which is your overall satisfaction with life, the different areas of your life, including career, health and fitness, personal development, spirituality, family, relationships. So how satisfied are you in those areas of your life? And you can quantify that by doing quick exercise. Ask yourself for each area of your life, how satisfied am I in that area of your life, of my life? And write down the first number that comes to your mind. That's your unconscious response. And so if that was a 6, for example, now ask yourself, what would I want that number to be? For example, 10. And then close your eyes and notice, what does it look like when it's a 10? What is that 10? And then you choose one action, one step that you can take to get you towards that. So this is how you take charge of satisfaction in all areas of your life. The other important part of the happiness equation are our emotions. How well are you able to process negative emotion and cultivate positive emotion? Both of those are really important. So when it comes to negative emotion, it's very important to share this happiness finding, which is that happiness is not about feeling good all the time. It's not about only experiencing positive emotion. Happiness is about immunodiversity. Immunodiversity is experiencing a wide array of normal human emotion. So even the so-called negative emotions are normal. They're normal to experience, but they're not healthy when they overwhelm us or they linger for too long, or we allow them, we indulge them for too long. So this is where the science tells us that happiest people accept and experience a wide array of emotions. They're just able to process those, manage those, bounce back from those faster and in a healthier manner. And at the same time, they're able to cultivate and grow positive emotion by doing things that they enjoy, by choosing one thought over another, so that they are able to shape their inner world, which in turn affects their emotional state and their outer world. So it's important for you to know that happiness is not about feeling good all the time. Let's accept all our emotions and let's get better through practice at healing through those emotions and cultivating positive emotion. And it's a practice. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and it becomes a habit, and you can grow in that area. Another important happiness finding is related to where happiness comes from. How much of happiness do you think comes from genetics? How much of it is due to our life circumstances? And how much of it is under our control? What do you think those percentages look like? Well, research says 50% of happiness is genetics. Now, that just means that we're born with a certain baseline of happiness that's different from one person to another, but we can all build on it and we can all be happy. So let's put the genetics aside and let's look at the remaining 50%. Only 10% of our happiness is due to our life circumstances. And 40% of our happiness is under our control. It's about how we choose to think of those life circumstances. How are we perceiving them? How are we choosing to respond to them? What meaning are we giving them? That's where it's all happening. And that's under our control. And that's enough to help us live a happier, more fulfilling life. So it's all in that 40%. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But just remember that it is not about our life circumstances. It's about what we make of those, how we move forward despite them, and in fact, learn from them. So that's the second important happiness finding. And it's important to know that everything we need for happiness is already inside us. It's already there. We have all the tools and resources that we need to be able to live the life that we want. We may not be able to tap into all those resources. So as a hypnotherapist, that's what I like to share with people, is to make sure that they're aware of the power and the beauty of the unconscious mind, how it has all the strength and all the beauty that we were born with, all our hopes and dreams and desires, and it has all the tools we need to achieve all that. Now, at the same time, it happens to have some unresolved emotions and limiting beliefs and internal conflicts that come from the first 6 years of life, the imprint stage, when our mind is absorbing everything like a sponge and believing things that aren't true, like maybe we're not good enough, that we can't do this. And so what we need to do is we need to rewire our mind to work for us. It's always working for us, but has some mistaken beliefs about how it needs to work for us. So when we go in there and rewire our mind, work through some of these limiting beliefs, get rid of these internal conflicts, resolve those unresolved emotions, then all that will be left are all those amazing, valuable resources that we can use to have the life we want. So it's already there. Happiness is already inside us. It is not about, that new car or that job or anything. It's about tapping into our inner resources, creating that inner world that allows us to have the outer world that we want. And in the most difficult of times and in the most challenging of times, it's a wonderful opportunity to get still enough with ourselves. Breathe, close your eyes, and get familiar and get in tune with your unconscious mind. Start tapping into it so that you can pull out some of those resources and maybe also pull out some of those things that you want to work through. Third happiness finding is related to pleasure and purpose. Is happiness about pleasure, or is it about purpose, or is it about both? So science tells us that happiness is not about pure pleasure. People who are going after pure pleasure are on what scientists call a hedonic treadmill. There, you go after the pleasure, you need more pleasure and more pleasure in order to be satisfied. And it's not sustainable, and it does not lead to lasting happiness. What does lead to lasting happiness? A sense of purpose, meaning. Now, this does not have to be some huge, grand, one single purpose in your life. It can be finding the purpose or the meaning in all the little things you do throughout the day, whatever they are. Even if they're chores, you're helping kids with homework, you're solving a problem at work, whatever it is you're doing, if you do it with a sense of purpose and meaning to you, then you can derive happiness from that. And then the pleasure becomes sort of like the icing on the cake. So we go through our lives doing things that give us a sense of purpose and meaning, and we do things we enjoy, just as a sort of icing on the cake, as I said. And through those two things, we're able to have sustainable happiness despite circumstances around us, by choosing what we want to do or not do, setting boundaries, perhaps, if that's what we need to do. Now, this differs from every person to another, but just bear that in mind as you go through your day. Do more of what you love, do more of what you enjoy, and certainly do more of what gives you a sense of meaning. It's meaningful to you. That's what's important. And again, that's different from one person to another. So happiness is really about using all of these findings to create your own definition. What does happiness mean to you? what is success to you? And it's a very unique definition that is entirely up to you, because you're a unique individual. So your definition of happiness, of success, of fulfillment will be different from everybody else. And remember that, because we sometimes hear things around us and they're all just suggestions. And we can use those suggestions to be inspired by them or to actually decide what we're not interested in doing. In the end, it's up to us to decide what is it that we want to do with our time here together on this planet, and own that and make it ours and do it our way. Make it true to ourselves. One of my favorite definitions of happiness is to follow your highest excitement with integrity and with zero expectation or attachment to the outcome. So follow what excites you. Do it with integrity, true to you, with your values. And then whatever happens, it's fine. Do not be attached to that outcome or to the result. Whatever it is, learn from it. Pick up that learning and go again. Do more. That's the way to be satisfied and to be happy, to achieve peace of mind, fulfillment, and a feeling of success in the moment, no matter what's happening around you, because you're taking little steps towards the things that are important to you, and you're okay no matter what happens. No matter what comes my way, I will be okay. Why? Because I'm going to learn from that. What do I want to do differently next time? What do I want to do better next time? And I allow myself to make mistakes, as many as needed, to pick up those learnings and keep going and enjoying the journey. Being unattached to the outcome helps us enjoy that journey. So those were 3 important happiness findings and suggestions here. And now I want to share 7 tips to help you take charge, even in what seem to be the most uncertain of times. And about uncertainty, I just want to say that let's remember that the future has always been uncertain. There is not a time that is more uncertain than another time. It's all equally uncertain. We've never been sure of the future. We've never been in control of the future. What we are in control of are 2 things: our thoughts and our actions. So if times seem to be more uncertain, it's because we are perceiving them to be that way, and we're adding fear, and maybe rightly so, because the magnitude of the uncertainty seems to be greater, because things are affecting us more, or they're affecting people we love, and so that's understandable. I'm just saying, let's just notice that that part has not changed in terms of the uncertainty. So the same tools that we used to use before, I mean, we're here today and we've gone through uncertain times all our lives. Some have been more challenging to us than others, but we've always managed, and we've have certain tools that we've always used. So start tapping into what are the tools that you've always used to go through uncertainty. And if now seems to be more uncertain to you, then this is a time to pull out those tools and realize, hey, you know what? I can do this. I've done it before, and I can do it again. It's harder, that's okay. I've done hard things before. I can do hard things again. I can overcome this. I can be okay. Our thoughts are important. I'll be mentioning that again in a minute. So it's really important to take charge of our thoughts if we want to take charge of our life, our happiness, our success, our peace of mind, our fulfillment, especially when times are more difficult or challenging. So first tip to adapt to uncertain times is to accept. Let's accept that yes, there is uncertainty, and there always has been. It is what it is. When we accept, we're able to move on. When we resist, we're stuck in that cycle of why is this happening, and we're not able to move on. So let's just start by accepting what is, accepting ourselves fully, accepting how we feel right now, and that's fine, and then choosing how we want to feel in a minute. Do we want to still feel the same way, or do we want to feel differently? But always start by accepting. Number 2, learn. Learn. What can I learn from what's happening? And what is good about this? let me look for what's good. Anything. Let me look for anything that's good, even if it's hard to find at first. And then the more you practice looking for what's good, the more you find it, and the more it starts to color your world. So learn, what could this be trying to teach me? What can I learn about my priorities? What can I learn about gratitude? Maybe there are things that I hadn't been appreciating that now I can appreciate more. Whatever I need to learn, it's about getting in tune with myself so that I can pick up those learnings. So first accepting, and then looking for what can I learn? What is good here? There's always some good. What could that be? So take notice of those things. And then number 3, adapt. You've accepted, you're starting to learn, you're starting to look for what's good, and now you want to adapt to that. What might I want to do differently in light of these current circumstances? What might I want to change to improve things for myself or for others? So this is an opportunity for growth and for learning, for development, if we choose to use it as such. Any opportunity, any challenging times are an opportunity. In fact, the more challenging they are, the more there's an opportunity here for growth. Number 4, is to focus. It's really important. It's important always, and especially when times are tougher, to focus and to notice, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what's good? Are you focusing on what you can do instead of what you can't? Are you focusing on what you do have instead of what you don't? Make sure that you're focusing on more positive things so that you can take charge of that moment and be able to look forward to the day, look forward to moving forward. Are you focusing on yourself, or are you fixated on what other people are doing or not doing, which you can't control? So focus on what you can control, not on what you can't. Focus on the moment, not on what might happen. We're often afraid of what might happen, and we allow ourselves perhaps sometimes to indulge the worst case scenarios. Just as easily as we can feel fear, we can also cultivate faith. Both fear and faith require us not knowing what's going to happen. But one of them is better for us and helps us move forward, helps us feel better. So choose faith over fear. In both cases, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but who says the worst case scenario is going to happen? Maybe the best case scenario is going to happen. Until whatever happens, more importantly, what do I want to focus on today? What do I want to think about today? What feelings do I want to indulge today? So let me indulge the positive feelings. I can accept the negative ones, but I don't need to indulge them. And what do I want to do today? What do I want to do? And that's entirely up to you. It could be that, you know what, today I really don't want to do much. I just want to relax. I want to meditate. I want to do yoga, whatever. That's all. This is what I need today. Fine. Or maybe today is the day when I want to work on my business and take it to a higher level and collaborate with people. So just notice what you're focusing on, and notice that our thoughts and our focus are what color our world. What you focus on will grow. So notice that. Move towards what you want. Number 5, move towards what you want. So what do I mean by that? It's really important, as we're setting goals, that we move towards the things that we want. So you close your eyes and visualize. Choose one area of your life and visualize, what do I want in that area of my life? And see it. Get a vision. Remember that 10 we talked about? Like, I want to have a 10 in my career or in my relationships. Close your eyes and imagine, what does that 10 look like? And use all your feelings to visualize that 10. See it, hear it, feel it, and really believe it, and know that you deserve it. And then think of one action that you can take today towards that 10 that you want. When you move towards the things you want, you're able to achieve them, and you're always in the right direction. as opposed to moving away from things that we don't want. We find ourselves getting pulled back to those things. So we don't have to do anything. We get to choose. So choose what excites you, what you want out of life, and then just take baby steps. And they will all add up to getting to whatever it is that you want. Okay, and now the next tip is to get creative, especially in the most challenging of times. If we do all those previous steps, we'll be able to tap into our creativity. If we've accepted instead of resisted, if we start looking for what's good so that practice becomes more of a habit, and we're starting to adapt, we're starting to choose what we want to focus on, we're moving towards the things that we want, whatever those are, whatever it means to us, it's entirely up to us. There's no right or wrong here. There's only what's right or wrong for you. Now, get creative. Start figuring out, do you want to do different things? Do you want to do new things? Do you want to do things differently? And that, whatever that means to you. So if it's a business, maybe I wasn't collaborating with people, maybe now is the time to collaborate. Maybe there was an area of my business that I was kind of neglecting, and now I have more time on my hands. I can go into that area and get better at that. Whatever it means. If it's in relationships, maybe I need to set boundaries better or practice having open, honest communication more. Whatever it means, all the answers are inside you. Deep down inside, what you need, what you want, and you have tools to get there. So start getting creative about how you want to do that. And always, 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 this is my 7th and most favorite tip, always operate from a place of love. Approach yourself with love, approach others with love, approach even the most challenging of times with as much love as you can manage. And that really has the power to make all the difference. Life is always going to have pain. And that's why I always look at happiness as an umbrella term that encompasses all of what life will have to show us and offer us. So there'll be painful moments, there'll be moments to celebrate. The important thing to remember is that even when there's pain, that does not need to equal suffering. And that's up to us. It's up to us to take charge, to operate from a place of love, not fear, not hate. To operate from a place of love means as well that we start to believe in ourselves and start to realize how beautiful we are, how unique we are, how there is no one on the planet exactly like us. Nobody has the same message that we have to share with the world. Nobody has taken our journey. So we actually ultimately are the only ones who have the answers. Yet we can also be inspired by other people. But in the end, we get to choose. So take charge. Take charge of what you want. Take charge of your thoughts. Take charge of how you want to feel. When you notice yourself not feeling well, accept it and allow it, but also question, is this how I want to feel right now? How would I rather feel? And what can I do now to feel better? So operate from a place of love. Love people around you. When you operate from a place of love, that allows you to expand that love to all of humanity. This is a time, any time is a time to spread kindness, to spread compassion, to spread the love, starting with yourself and moving outwards. And having said that, I really hope that these happiness findings and these few tips can help you wake up every day looking forward to what you're going to do that day, making sure that it adds value to you, that it's meaningful to you, and that you're representing yourself, reflecting yourself in everything that you do. And that's all we need to do. Those two things that we do control, our thoughts and our actions, are all we need to be able to start to perceive life in a way that makes it a good life. No matter how challenging, how uncertain those times, we can find happiness and inner peace.